Bum, bum. Happy Monday, ladies and gentlemen. It is Risk It for the Biscuit. I think episode 24.
24?
Kobe.
Good God.
It's the Kobe episode. We're back at it. I'm Mark. That's Roman. And, man,
It's me.
I think we've had a lot of things happen in the world. Of course,
Yeah.
I still don't know. But Roman is in the world.
You call me a worldly person, Mark?
That's not where I was going with this, but
Kind of rude.
he's, I guess that's a bad word. Not a bad word, but bad wording.
Yeah.
Roman's not in, social media, break. I was trying to think of very, smart ways to say it, but my brain's not working. But anyway, yeah, a lot of stuff to talk about today.
Right.
So if you want to tell me something interesting about life, about what's going on in the real world. Last week we had the Russian mutiny, failed attempt in a way.
Right.
Is Prigozhin still alive?
Kind of a rebellion. Probably. They're saying Ramzan Kadyrov might be dead, though. So.
Wow.
Or not dead, but dying.
From what?
Liver failure. It's a rumor, but he did record this video on his Telegram saying hey, pretty much he said we're here for a good time, not a long time. That's pretty much what he said.
Jeez.
The short version of it, but
And remember, we're here just for vibes. We're not accurate here.
Right,
at all.
no,
Just so if you hear something here, it's not real.
no, I
probably.
for a fact saw that on his Telegram.
Well, I know, but just everything else,
Yeah.
the way you paraphrased it, just
Oh, right.
We're here
So
just for vibes.
here's an interesting one. We'll start here because you probably don't know anything about this. So this week, it was yesterday, I believe. What's it called? Elon Musk decided to implement rate limiting on Twitter because he was saying due to heavy amounts of scraping of data, you're limited to seeing 600 tweets a day or something.
What?
You didn't know about this?
I mean, obviously not.
So there's been some great memes.
That was yesterday?
Yesterday, I believe. There's all these memes please, sir, may I have another tweet? And there was this really good one. It was kind of like a communist-themed one.
You're a fan of the communists? Or wait, is that...
No. It was kind of like a joke, but don't look at those yet, Mark. Look at me.
I'm looking at the Elon text.
Hold on. Let me go to my liked, because I swear I bookmarked it. Or actually, let me check my bookmarks for podcasts.
Very professional here, Roman.
No, it's not.
Got it ready. At the...
Mark, shut up.
Okay. We're just going to watch you try to find this.
No, you keep talking. Or I'll keep talking.
Yeah, please. Speak.
So it was just really... Because he was saying it was because there's a bunch of bots scraping
what does scraping
data.
mean?
So basically if you... Okay, so we can kind of start at the beginning. Here's the real reason why everything happened. But here's his tweet first. We'll just show his tweet. So... To address extreme levels of data scraping and system manipulation, we've applied the following temporary limits. Verified accounts are limited to reading 6,000 posts a day. Unverified 600. New unverified accounts 300 a day. So that's kind of what he said. The background. So Elon bought Twitter.
Right, he did. We know that.
And then they were losing $1 billion a year. So he made a bunch of drastic cuts. He fired... a lot of people, tens of thousands of people he fired. And one of the ways that he tried to raise money, to start making more money, is Twitter had this, they have a public API, which is if I have an app and I want to integrate with Twitter, I want people to see tweets, some sort of tweets on my platform.
Or on the website.
Yeah, stuff like that. And then also there's a bunch of business apps where you can schedule tweets to go out at certain times, right? And so those were either using those apps were either using the free public API, or also Twitter had a paid API, right? So you'd pay maybe every single API request, I don't know, usually a cent or something, you'd pay a certain amount. So some businesses were paying hundreds of dollars a month to Twitter, some were paying tens of dollars, and then some really high traffic. And then also another one of the things that Twitter offers is have you ever seen sign in with Google?
Yeah.
So there's a sign in with Twitter button. So that's another thing. So Elon decided, hey, like, if you want to keep using the API, you have to pay us. The lowest amount of money is $42,000 a month. So everyone was like, no. Like there's some apps, that they don't make that much money. Like they don't have that much money to spend. So everyone was like, how about we don't? Like we're just going to have to shut down. Like we can't. And then also
shut down their like Twitter.
Shut down whatever business they were running with Twitter's APIs. So that kind of happened. That was months ago. People have kind of been struggling, blah, blah, blah. And one way around that is Twitter. You can use, there's some ways to get around that where you can kind of have like in a programmatic way, a browser, and it kind of mimics the way a user would use Twitter. And it can kind of like do things for you, like getting around the API. And so that was happening. And then also, right, there's like a lot of like, Twitter, have you ever seen like a bots or like scam accounts, right? So that they used to use Twitter's API. Now they use whatever other methods they use where they're, they might have like a farm of phones and, they're like, commenting or like boosting engagement on certain things or whatever the bots are trying to do, right? So that was kind of, so that's how kind of Twitter was being abused in a way where people were getting around those API limits through, whatever gray hat, like black hat and white hat. Like white hat is kind of like doing everything like the proper way, like we're only going to follow all the rules. Black hat is like, I don't care, I'm going to break every single, whatever. And then gray hat is kind of like, well, like it's technically legal, but it's probably not like, the most moral or whatever. So like, whatever they were doing to get around the Twitter APIs was kind of like a gray hat kind of operation. So Elon, he claims that this is why he, because of data scraping and system manipulation. So data scraping is just kind of like, that's the other part I didn't get to. So the system manipulation is kind of what I just described, where people would, get around that. And then data scraping, if you think of like, ChatGPT and like all those AI platforms, they need massive amounts of data. And so actually, yeah, you probably haven't noticed this, but before, when you would share a tweet, I don't know if you can share it from here, but yeah, if I clicked share from here, copy link to tweet, right? From that tweet link, you'd be able to see a preview of what that tweet says, right? Like if you share a tweet with someone, you'd be able to see like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I've shared
what I mean?
like that before, yeah.
That's gone because of this. So there's no more tweet preview. There's no more, anything like that. That's kind of what this change did. But the kind of like the down low, like this was a really bad implementation of rate limiting. Like it was a terrible, like I could have done something better, honestly. Like it was really bad. So they're saying it's probably because this is probably not the real reason he did it. It's because they're facing like very catastrophic system failures, because they went from like X number of engineers to like X times like 10%, so they lost like 90% of their engineers, and everyone's like, doing everything and no one knows what's going on. So that's probably what's happening. I don't think I don't know why Elon just woke up one day and he's like, oh, we're going to rate limit. Like,
so what happens when you see your 600 or your 6,000?
New meme. There's a new meme format. You just get a thing that says rate limit exceeded.
Really?
Yeah, let me see if I can see it.
What the heck?
So funny. Here it is. Okay. So this is kind of what you see now if you
it's only been like 2 days, right?
Yeah.
They implemented it yesterday?
Yeah. So you just get this rate limit exceeded. Please wait a few moments to try again. But you have to wait a whole, like, till the next day. So.
What the heck?
Yeah. And they did a terrible implementation. Like, there's videos of it where it kind of bugs out. And what's happening is it just keeps hitting Twitter's API. And it just keeps getting this message back. So it's overloading their servers even more. I don't want to explain like the full details of it because it's kind of like too boring, but basically it's a really bad it may have been a fine idea, maybe they had like some valid reason, but it was just a very bad execution. Like it was really bad.
So have you gotten that yet?
No, I'm verified, so I think I pay Elon $8 a month.
Deep
so.
Pockets over here.
Yeah,
Roman's got some deep pockets.
Right, very very not deep, but
egregiously deep.
But Yeah, so that was kind of the most recent interesting thing that happened. Everyone was clowning on Elon because it was like it's a pretty dumb decision. I'm sure he had some reason for it, but it was just not executed well at all. Yeah, and then I think, what was the other thing that happened this week? Not Roe v. Wade, no.
Student loans.
Student loans, no. And like affirmative action was also overturned by the Supreme Court.
What is that again?
Affirmative action is like where colleges can admit by race.
I saw that. Yeah.
And the Supreme Court said that you cannot factor in race or something, or maybe it's the other way around. I don't know. I didn't really read it too much.
You just
maybe
know
you
something
can.
happened.
No, I think you can't. I think you can't factor race in.
I didn't see.
You should probably look this up.
Yeah, you should probably prepare.
Okay.
So, government approved voluntary. So they overturned it. So
Right. So affirmative action is kind of used.
Here's articles about it. Race neutral replaces. What?
Yeah. So basically, affirmative action was like underrepresented races could get into college at disproportionately higher rates.
That's so weird. I didn't realize that that's what that was.
Yeah.
But does that mean what was that one thing they were teaching, the critical race theory? So does that affect that at all?
No.
Like in schools?
No.
They weren't. This has nothing to do.
Completely
with
unrelated.
That's good. Yeah, this shows.
This is just for getting into college.
Okay. Huh.
So I think that was something I think that was this week. Yeah.
I think it was showing 10 hours ago, 3 hours ago, a day ago. But I also saw the student loan. Something happened. They did something. People.
Yeah.
Biden failed, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw, because the only outside world I get is the little Fox TV at the gym, and they don't have any other news channels that tells you about the area we live in.
Yeah.
The only news station at the gym is Fox.
Nice.
But yeah, they're saying Biden was like, I didn't go back on my word or something. I don't know.
I don't know. I wasn't following that.
But
So yeah. So other than that,
you know what's happening in France? That's what I was like.
Because there were so many. I don't like gore. I don't like seeing people.
You literally watch Ukraine videos. Non-stop.
Yeah, but I watch the blurred ones usually. Okay. Right. I just don't like to.
So what's going on in France?
Worse? So okay. So here's what's going on in France, Mark. I wake up Wednesday, 6:00 in the morning, and because I'm a terrible, undisciplined person, the first thing I do is I open my phone and check Twitter. Oh my God. The first thing I do.
That is
it's 6 inches from my eyes like this. I wonder why my eyesight's getting worse.
Yeah, but that is the worst thing you could do for your brain.
Right. So let me explain to you how much worse it gets.
Okay.
So I open Twitter. Or no. Okay, whatever. Doesn't matter what day this was. I opened Twitter.
Doesn't matter at all what day it was, actually.
And usually Twitter's they have filters oh, this is gruesome. Then you have to manually click show. I open Twitter. The first thing I see is a video of a man whose hands were decapitated.
In France?
Yes.
For what?
He tried to stop the protesters. And they decapitated his hand, or not decapitated. That's not the correct word, but they chopped his hands off.
Decapitated.
Yeah, they chopped his hands off, and I'm just like, oh,
well, good morning,
good morning. So that's all I know. I know every freaking all these dumb verified Twitter accounts are there's a video of an explosion. Okay, let's just go through this logically, right?
Yeah, call out all of these verified Twitter accounts so that way they can engage with us.
This guy, Ian Miles Cheong. This guy.
Starting some beef.
First of all, I just want you guys to look at his face.
Oh my God. You don't have to go for him personally.
He is 30 years old and he looks like he's 45.
You don't have to go for him personally.
Right. Okay. Here it is. I don't know. This is not it. I'll find the exact tweet because we need receipts for this. There's an explosion in France, right? There's an explosion.
Right. Is he saying
what is the logical conclusion from this?
Ukraine did it.
Ukraine sold RPGs to French protesters, and the French protesters are using it.
Wow.
And it wasn't even like an RPG. It was like an improvised explosive, you know?
Yeah, Ukrainians are just in such a good position where they're just selling off.
Yeah.
Their
No, because they sold they sold American supplied weapons to French protesters. For what? Nobody knows.
That's what this guy said?
Right. That's the logical conclusion from this.
I would
right?
say his brain's probably very large.
Right.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Very large.
And it's also really funny. This guy, he's like from I don't want to say the Philippines, but he's from some other country. He's never been in the United States, and all he talks about is U.S. politics. It's just really funny. Yeah, so that was really great. And then also there was
so I saw an article or the headline, of course, because all we do is read headlines here.
Right.
We don't actually read news.
No, absolutely.
But
no, I'm kidding. I do.
I'm also kidding, but I'm not really. But they basically there was like something with the police, right? Like police killed like a teenager or something.
Yeah, so they killed a teenager, and then what's it called? And then everyone just rioted. I also saw a video of a I can't find it. I need to stop. Twitter bookmarks is cancer. It's so bad.
Hey,
it never bookmarks.
You know what you should do? This is legend.
You're gonna have a Google Doc. So there was a video.
The show will get better at some point in time.
If you interrupt me one more time, I'm ending the podcast.
Yeah, okay, all right.
There was a video of a guy. He's like a leader of like some Islamic organization in France, and this was like in 2020 or something, 2019. He was saying, so like he kind of just laid out their plan, like, yeah, listen, we're gonna. Well, first he mentioned like historically, he's like in the past the Islamic nation reached the gates of Vienna. We conquered Europe. We conquered Russia.
Sounds like the Ottoman.
We conquered like the Baltic countries. We conquered everything, and we will again conquer France. France will be under Sharia law, like the blah blah blah, all this stuff. And
is this what this is?
Well, it's because I think the guy that they killed, he was is Islamic the right word? Like
Arabic,
he was.
right? No.
Well, he's not necessarily Arabic because that's like an ethnicity, but he's
yeah.
there's Christians, Muslim. He's Muslim.
Muslim. Yeah.
And a lot of the rioters appear to be also Muslims as well. I don't know if that's connected. Again, I didn't save it. We're all vibes, no data. So
yeah, we don't. The thing is, you said that we don't know who you're talking about.
I don't know
who
either.
Said it?
No.
It's just some guy.
It's probably not good.
Who has a large grand plan to overtake Europe.
Right.
That sounds very real.
Let me find it.
Yeah, go look for it. Sure.
No, this is way far back. Oh, this is my retweets. I'm trying to look at my likes.
You retweet stuff?
Yeah, of course I do.
Interesting. No one's active on Twitter.
No, this is good. I should probably share my screen. So good afternoon. This tweet just took away 1 point from your daily post viewing. And then someone ratioed Elon. It was really funny. Cause he's saying touch grass. Because like people were saying like, oh, like people were complaining, and then Elon's just like, oh, touch grass, you know. And this guy was like, touch this ratio.
That's Albert. That's the guy.
Yeah.
You know who that is, right?
Yeah.
The kid.
Wait, no, I have no idea who you're talking about.
You don't know? Wait, go to his account. He's so funny.
Oh, I know he's funny.
Go to his media. Let me see if go down. He had like a face reveal, and it's the kid, the kid that shows up everywhere. He has like a mustache. He has long hair.
Like the bowl cut?
No, not the bowl cut.
I have no idea who you're talking about. I just know he's funny.
Yeah, face reveal. Look. It's this guy. Matan.
Oh, that's him?
Matan, yes.
I didn't know that. Oh, so this is what I was talking about earlier. So when it's saying sorry you're rate limited, it keeps hitting Twitter's API, so it's still overloading them. So it's really good. Use effect if you know, you know.
Wait, so what are they gonna do in France? I thought, what's his face? Macron said he canceled like some meetings and stuff like that. He's not going to like Germany or something.
I haven't heard anything from Macron.
Macron is his name.
Macaroni. Nothing from him.
I'm not a fan of his. I don't know much about him. Just not a fan of him.
I think he looks pretty good.
Nah.
You know.
I think he's
I mean, not as good as Illusion.
Do you remember when?
Look at this guy. Look at this freaking.
Do you remember
hunk?
When Macron he had the $100,000 watch or something, and then he puts it on his hands on the table. He was talking about the.
Oh, is that him?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, he looks like a average Frenchman. I don't know.
I guess.
Oh, there's this guy. Do you know this guy? He does shower food reviews.
Is that a fish?
No, Mark. It's a whole roasted snapper.
What?
This was a difficult challenge to eat in the shower, but so worth it. I've been dating lately, each encounter ending in utter failure. But it's okay. There are plenty of fish in the sea.
Oh
There was one less after I ate this. 8 out of 10.
What are we talking about, dude? We're just looking at Roman's like Twitter memes.
No, there's this guy. That's all he does. This is all he posts on Twitter.
What else has he eaten?
I'll show you. He's eaten a lot of things. I know he ate like a cheeseburger. He's like, yeah, this one was pretty tough to eat. Well, this is him just eating somewhere. Yeah, he just eats sandwiches and chili cheese stock.
What?
Shower food review 74
like
chili
this.
cheese.
I don't like this.
It's really upsetting shower meal. I wish I could quit my job, but there's not much money in eating food in the shower. I wish we lived in a world where the more you loved your work, the more money you got paid. We do not live in that world. 4 out of 10.
It's just a big. What is he doing, man?
This bread was pretty old, but the shower helped bring it back to life. Things have gotten a little stale in my own life, but these.
All right, we get it. Let's talk about something about.
Oh, I could read these forever, dude. I love this guy.
People on Twitter. Let's talk about something serious. Oh my god. Okay, that one.
A big pretzel.
Wait, is that a salty one or a?
Yeah, it looks salty.
Because that makes a big difference, right?
Yeah.
You know that Auntie Annie's like chain is apparently one of the most successful like. Is that a? It's a whole duck. Bro.
I just love because he like sprinkles in like his own life, you know. So it's a whole Peking duck. I took some time off to just relax each day. I try to improve myself, but I realized if you keep pushing the envelope, one day it's going to break. Anyways, this was one of the most decadent meals I've eaten.
There's no way he eats that. Like, he takes a bite and posts a picture. There's no way he eats that.
You never know, Mark.
There's no way.
Oh, he had Shake Shack, or Steak and Shake. Actually looks pretty good.
Roman.
Chicago hot dog.
Oh my gosh.
It's like a whole duck.
this
I think he ate an entire roast chicken one time.
I mean, the duck was pretty close.
Dino chicken nuggets. Anyways,
yeah,
we need to stop.
Talk about something real. What else? We started talking about this because of France.
Yeah, I don't know how we got there. There's going to be the NATO summit next week in Vilnius, which is Lithuania.
I think that. So wait, so Ukraine's going to NATO?
No, they're having a meeting, just a NATO meeting of like all the NATO members, and Ukraine membership is going to be brought up. So like, you know, we'll see. But yeah. Jeez. As far as other interesting things,
yeah, I need to get back into the world, dude. I don't know what's going on.
It's getting kind of crazy. So I wanted to show this. This was pretty cool.
By the way, was there, because that whole rebellion thing, was there any like progress made? I'm seeing on Deep State that the progress was made in areas not that I expected.
Yeah, sure. We can go over that in a second. This guy, I wanted to kind of highlight this guy because he's doing really good stuff. His name is Ryan Hendrickson. He's like a former, I want to say Marine, mine. What is it called? Like he removed landmines. That's what he did. He's a retired Green Beret.
Okay.
and this is him removing a OZM 72 mine. There's really, not much to the video, but I just kind of wanted to highlight him because
he's in Ukraine.
He's in Ukraine, and I kind of wanted to highlight the mine situation in Ukraine, because a lot of people may not may forget about this, but even when the war is over, they're saying it's gonna take like 70 years to fully demine.
70?
Yeah.
Like 70.
It took almost 70 years to, or like in Vietnam, they're still finding mines.
Active, like if you step on them, they're
Because modern U.S. mines, right? Modern U.S. mines, they have a thing where they will automatically explode after like 90 days, right? The Russians, they're just using whatever they can, whatever mines they already had stockpiled, and they don't care about like safety for civilians. And there's some horrific videos from like the southern front area, from over here, from Orikhiv over here, of like just the quantity of mines is like almost unbelievable. There was a video, we definitely cannot show it because it's very graphic, but basically like 2 infantry fighting vehicles drove into a field. One guy like steps out, like boom, like mine takes off his foot, and then like his other, basically like just the amount of like Ukrainian soldiers who are gonna lose limbs because of these minefields is like, it's mind-boggling. Like, and then the medic that came to rescue him stepped on an anti-personnel mine, blew his own leg off too. And like just the situation with the minefields, because like especially like if we turn on this, right, you'll see all of the like major frontline areas. Before these major like dug in fighting positions, there's huge minefields, and this was farmland, right? So this is going to be a really big problem for farmers and just for kids. Like kids can't just run around in the forest anymore because, you step on one of these Russian butterfly mines, like you're losing a limb. They're not designed to kill you. They're designed to, just like harm, like just like to, take off a foot. What is it called? It's called the PFM1 mine. So they're these really small mines, and they're able to they're meant to just hurt. They're not meant for tanks. Like they're not going to do anything to a tank or like an armored vehicle. But if you step on them, they have a really, really easy like pressure plate. So like if you just kind of like step a little bit on it, it's going to explode. And they're designed to just rip legs off and stuff like that. Jeez. So yeah, and you can see like there's so many of them, and they're so easy to just scatter in areas. They just they arm after 5 minutes, so you just kind of like go through and scatter them everywhere, and then
they arm after 5 minutes,
or like a certain amount of time. Like they have a timer. Like
so you don't even have to like plant them.
You just scatter them, yeah. And they're green, right? They're like this green color, so they're like especially now, like in the grassy, woody areas, it's a really, really big problem. These mines.
I imagine if it was like peaceful, wouldn't they get creative with how they like go through them? I don't know, maybe put like remote control cars or something, like just like
right
stuff through the fields.
Right. Yeah, they've been using like remote controlled. I've seen remote controlled bulldozers and like remote controlled tractors. The problem is like, because I know Ryan Henderson, I've been following him, or Ryan Hendrickson, I've been following him for like a number of months. After the Kharkiv offensive ended and the Kherson offensive, he's still demining stuff there, because there's still a really big need to
So do they pretty much just pull up onto minefields and
just slowly? You got to go inch by inch, because there's anti-personnel mines, there's anti-tank mines. And some of these mines, this one that he's demining here, let me see if I can find a picture of it, the OZM 72. This one is designed, it's an anti-personnel mine like this.
Mm-hmm. Anti-personnel is like
for like people.
To take them out or to...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like there's anti-personnel and anti-tank, obviously like anti-personnel won't really harm a vehicle. These are designed to basically, when they get tripped, there's like a tripwire. They fly about a meter into the air, and then explode outwards that way to do maximum. And everything in like a 25-meter radius dies. Like, it has a really high, like, effective range and, like...
Is it like shrapnel or chemicals?
Yeah, like shrapnel, like BBs, like, or like ball bearings, like this. It just shoots them in every direction. You can kind of see an example here. So it just flies up and then just explodes. So these are also, like, extremely, deadly. A lot of mines. But yeah, so as far as... So yeah, I just wanted to highlight that because that's a really big problem. Not a lot of people talking about it. As far as, like, major...
That's the only progress I've been seeing is right there on that bottom.
Yeah, so, I mean, if we go back to... Let's see, we'll go back to the 25th. Why can't I do that? So let me just go back to the 25th so we can kind of see a week's worth of progress. So it hasn't been a tremendous amount. It's mainly along here and around Bakhmut. So if we kind of go forward, you'll see, like, there's small... steady progress going along here, and also we can see here Bakhmut, these flanks are kind of slowly, you can see them over time, a little bit territory there, a little bit of territory there, this kind of so they're kind of trying to, like, attack from these sides. I'm not a military expert, I don't know, but it's kind of, basically they're trying to get Bakhmut back. And kind of cut them off to this road. This road leads to, Slovansk and stuff. So they can cut them off here, then, that's a big deal. And then there's, slow and steady progress here.
Well, because if they like get that out, right?
Yeah.
Because didn't they blow up the bridge so they can't get into Crimea or no?
No, I mean they hit that bridge that goes into Crimea from Ukraine. I think it's this bridge over here. I forgot the name of the city.
They have trenches there already?
Yeah, of course.
They're ready to...
Yeah, they got trenches along this line. No, but I mean, the one thing I'll say is...
Does Ukraine have a navy?
Yeah. A small navy, but...
So are we fighting like that or not really?
I mean, mostly drone boats, I don't know if you remember. There's somewhat frequent attacks with drone boats and stuff. But yeah, Ukraine is, expanding its navy actively with like small patrol ships and stuff.
Odessa's
yeah.
Probably out of there, huh? Port city.
Yeah, this is where the Ukrainian navy is based out of. It's based out of Odessa. Yeah.
That's the one city I wish we went to.
Yeah, me too. It's not that far from Romania, though. Just saying. Anyway. Yeah, so there hasn't been a tremendous amount of progress, but, like, if you remember the Kherson offensive, it was a whole bunch of nothing every day, just a little bit of progress, and then one day, just everything happens on one day, Like, if you see this chunk of territory was like one day pretty much. They retreated. Like this, like small chunk here, small chunk here, small chunk here, and then just over time, and then all of a sudden, you get all this back. It's a tough battle because we don't have air superiority, and we're fighting a near peer conflict, and no one has air superiority really. And it's just basically just infantry, just meter by meter.
We'll get it.
Yeah, so.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well, that makes me... I watched the World War II in color documentary about Pearl Harbor. I was saying that was a really good thing. I want to watch the rest of them on World War II. So crazy to think about. Just all the stuff that went into it, and how that affected everything.
Yeah. I don't know everything about World War II. There's definitely more stuff I want to learn about it. But everything I learned about, like, the two world wars is just crazy. I mean, just the amount of people that died is nuts.
It also made me think, there's literally nothing new under the sun.
Yeah.
The Japanese, essentially, what's it called? Man, my headphones aren't working. Yes!
I mean, I can see your audio's getting
okay, well, audio's fine, but I can't hear me in the headphones, but it's okay.
That's okay.
What's it called? they needed natural resources, so that's why they started going everywhere.
Right.
They wanted to become a world power, like respected.
Right.
And I think it was after World War One, they helped. I forgot who they were fighting. Either they helped the Russians.
No, I mean
in World War One,
Japan and the Soviet Union never had a good relation. I know there was a Russo Japanese war. I don't know what years it was.
Well, anyway, they defeated the Russians.
Yeah, they definitely
in 1905.
did.
Yeah. It was. So after that, they came and basically there was like a meeting with all the European countries and I think the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And so they wanted to get easier immigration for their citizens into the West, but the West declined, and so they got like angry.
Japan?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
They weren't happy with that because they were like, we just helped, or like we just defeated,
a major
power.
Yeah.
We want the respect, whatever. So that was kind of the thing, and then they wanted to prove to everyone that they were capable of, being a superpower.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just crazy. It's like literally nothing new under the sun. People just keep repeating the same thing. Need natural resources, go invade. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, some people even say they kind of blame the U.S. for, they're like victim blaming a little bit because after Japan, I forgot who Japan invaded, but after Japan invaded a certain country, we stopped selling them oil.
That's what they said in the documentary.
Yeah. Like it is true. Like after we stopped selling them oil, they
said they had two choices.
Yeah.
There was the Dutch-controlled Indonesia, and they have oil.
Yeah.
So basically, the way the documentary explained it was they had two options. You either had to go through American-controlled Philippines to get into the Dutch-controlled Indonesia, or you just go directly into America in Hawaii. And the general, I forget his name, and it was interesting because they said he spent two separate times of his life living in America.
Yeah.
So he knew about America as like an industrial superpower. He knew about the people or whatever, and so that was his concern, was like, if we don't accomplish everything we need to accomplish, that's industrial superpower is going to get going, and we're kind of screwed. So he knew that. But so they didn't choose to go to the Dutch-controlled Indies for oil. They chose Pearl Harbor. I did not realize. I don't know how I grew up my whole life not thinking about this, but 12 days. Their carriers spent 12 days going to the island, and it's like they were saying, it's crazy because it was literally just luck that they didn't get seen by anybody.
Yeah,
like just luck. And so they pull up, and they said that radar was a new technology, and the two guys that were sitting there at the north of the island, at the edge of the island, they say, hey, we just saw like a group of planes like an hour or 30 minutes before the attack, and they were just like, no, like that's probably either birds or maybe that's just like the other planes flying in.
Yeah.
And just like that whole, it was so butchered, that whole situation. Both the Navy commander and the Army general screwed up so bad. The Army general thought he was more worried about sabotage from the Japanese people living in Hawaii. So what he did, this knucklehead, well, obviously they're not ever expecting, Japan to come all the way to Hawaii, but he put all the planes out on the runways so that everyone could keep watch and guard them there. So when they pulled up with their planes, they were just sitting ducks, like easy targets, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the Navy commander, I think, well, the irony too is we technically fired the first shot because they found a submarine 30 minutes before Pearl Harbor, and they shot it. Like they destroyed it. So that's what they said. It was like ironic, I guess. But yeah, man. And then all those planes. And
no, some people, like I was saying, like some people were saying that like it's our fault that Japan invaded us, kind of. Or like, I mean, technically it's true, right? Like they're saying like we provoked Japan into a war, kind of. Well. It's like,
yes and no.
No, it's like technically it's true, right? Because like we stopped selling them oil, so they decided to bomb us. But like you said, they had a choice. They could either stop.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
You know,
they could have just stopped invading other countries.
that was on them, right?
Yeah.
You know, like they could have, just like, hey, like we don't have enough natural resources to do this. And been like, oh, okay, like.
Well, yeah. I mean, and they were saying that FDR was in a very tough position because he was very just like.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into war, but like he was actually concerned
Mm-hmm.
with like what Hitler was doing, what Japan was doing. He was trying to like balance everything out.
Yeah.
And then one person said in the documentary, they were like, it's almost like Pearl Harbor was like a gift, like a political gift.
It's a false flag.
No,
Come on.
It was like a political gift to Roosevelt
Yeah.
because that let him just go ham. And they said.
So was it an inside job?
Oh my gosh. Well, apparently there's conspiracy theories about that, but I'm not getting into it. It was such a tragic day. Can't even imagine, bro.
Yeah.
2,400 sailors. And the thing is, they attacked on Sunday morning. They were all chilling. They have videos of them just like playing baseball on the decks, like. And the thing is, of course, I'm an idiot because my perception of Pearl Harbor is based on the movie, the 3-hour-long love drama.
Greatest movie of all time.
Yeah. So I always thought that, like, they were just firing back and, it was a bloody battle. Not really. Like, you know what happened? Oh, man. The general, the Army general, because they had the Army base and the Navy base.
Yeah.
The Army guy, they were so scared of sabotage or like so concerned, they locked up all the ammunition and one guy had the key. So in all the midst of chaos, they can't find the guy who has the key. And like everyone's running around trying to like get in their planes and and to fire back. But there was one guy who had the key and they couldn't find him.
That's crazy.
No, there was the Navy guy, the Navy commander. I wish I knew these names.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look them up, you'll find them very quickly. But what's it called? Yeah, they said the Navy commander walked because they were set to play golf that morning. The Navy and the Army commanders, the generals. And so the Navy guy walks out with his shirt like half buttoned, and he was like, he's seeing history like unfold right in front of his eyes, and then he's like quoted for saying, "I wish one of those bombs would have got me."
Dang.
Yeah.
So like he knew he messed up.
Oh, well, the thing is, they were sending warnings like months or like weeks in advance, but the way like the White House was, because they had the Japanese embassy was burning documents. Like
they knew something was going on.
Yes, they knew something was gonna happen, but they couldn't have imagined. Like they didn't imagine that they were gonna come to Pearl Harbor. They thought it was gonna be like the Philippines, and that they were gonna have to be on standby. Like he was training them. He was getting the boats ready, but it was not for an like attack like this. But also, it's interesting. For some reason, and they said like in the documentaries, like by sheer luck, the aircraft carriers, the 3 aircraft carriers, weren't in the harbor, and so the guy, the people said
that saved our Pacific Fleet pretty much.
Yes,
right?
and they said
but they did destroy some big boy ships, right?
Well, yeah, but here's the thing, the 3 aircraft carriers, without those being touched, they said that it practically didn't damage America at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, but it looks like we did lose 4 battleships.
It said 3. In the documentary, it said 3.
So 4 battleships. Let me just pull up our.
And they said within 3 months, half of the fleet was repaired and out on the water.
Yep.
And they said all but 3 battleships got repaired.
Okay, so it looks like 4 battleships were sunk, 4 were damaged. 3 light cruisers. Okay.
And one of the ones that got destroyed was the SS Arizona.
Yeah.
And that one is because they hit the so at the front, I guess they have all the ammunition or something, and they hit it.
Oh,
Boom.
okay.
I think
Wow. So, and then it looks like 2,000 sailors were killed. Wow.
I think it was 24 or 2,043 officially, right?
It says 2008. And then 109 Marines. And then 208
2,403 total Americans.
2,400 total killed.
Yeah.
1,100 wounded. Wow. 3 civilian aircraft shot down.
Jeez.
Wow. But so there wasn't any aircraft carriers, it looks like.
That's what they said. The 3 aircraft carriers weren't in the harbor.
Okay. So that's kind of what
Because immediately, I think the next week, Roosevelt, they already were doing strikes on.
Okay. So a further important
Tokyo.
disadvantage was the absence from Pearl Harbor of all three of the U.S. Pacific Fleet's aircraft carriers. Huh.
Yeah. And you know the other wild thing why they weren't suspecting the attack is because Pearl Harbor is very shallow. 45 feet, I think they said.
45 feet?
Yeah. And so what they said was...
How do battleships get in there?
I don't know. But they said torpedoes wouldn't work because it's too shallow. But the Japanese re-engineered them like 2 weeks before they're supposed to go. And that's what one thing the Americans weren't
expecting
is that the torpedoes.
Well, they were definitely caught with unprepared. That's for sure. 2,000 sailors dead and like 2,400 people dead in one day. That's a
yeah, it was crazy.
Catastrophic outcome.
It was crazy. But they said in the documentary too is that Churchill went to bed that night saying we've won after all, because he knew the U.S. was going to get involved now. Yeah, because he was like, and then I think like a week later, Hitler declares war on America.
Yeah.
After we retaliate to Japan.
Everyone said the U.S. can't, fight war on two fronts, and we said, yes, we can.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing they said. Is this crazy? This is what the world was thinking even in the 1940s. They said America is just consumerism, materialism. Like if they get hit in the mouth, they're just gonna roll over. They said like they're not gonna have the energy or to muster that up. And I was like, man, that just makes me fired up on this 4th of July weekend. It makes me want to punch a hole through a wall.
Yes, tomorrow.
God bless the USA.
July 3rd. God bless the United States. July 4th in 2 days. We're gonna fire off some fireworks.
Oh, this is what I was gonna tell you this on the podcast. So it's kind of amongst July 4th along.
Yeah, let's close on this.
We can probably, yeah. So I was on a call for work with a guy, and he was like, "Oh, I don't need any transportation, nothing great, but I can give you my email or something." And basically, he goes, "My name is Jeremy," and the email was like Jeremy blah 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 something at whatever. So I write it down, and then I read it back to him, and I wrote J, but I said G. He goes, "No, it's J. You got it right, but it's J, not a G." And I was like, "Wait, did I say G?" And he was like, "Well, the right way to say it is Jeremy, with the G, but mine is J." And I was like, "What do you mean the right way?" He goes, "Yeah, it's like a British name or something. It's an English name with a G." And I was like, well, yeah, J is definitely the better way to spell it, that's why we're celebrating on the 4th. And he just bust out laughing. I think he genuinely was laughing so hard. And I just felt so freaking good. To get him
maybe those Yanks spell it with a G.
Yeah, I forgot exactly what I said, but I was just so confused. I didn't know the British way was with a G.
Yeah, I didn't know.
But obviously they're ridiculous for that. How do you spell Jeremy with a G?
Just freaking Yanks.
Gosh, dude, those freaking redcoats. But yeah, and I was like, well, yeah, definitely we spelled it right, buddy. We don't worry, we spelled it right, brother. Yeah. So.
You know what? Actually, I want to close on this.
Wait, is there anything else I want to say about that? No, that's pretty much it.
Because July 4th coming up.
Yeah.
Do you know the turning point of our Civil War?
The American Civil War?
Yeah.
I don't.
Or because we were losing.
The Gettysburg Address?
No. I'm saying.
On the battlefields?
Wait. This is embarrassing.
All vibes, guys. All vibes. Civil War.
No, not the Civil War. I'm a freaking idiot. The War of Independence, bro. The American Revolutionary War. The turning point.
Oh my god. Roman doesn't know. He claims to love America.
All the words. They're all just, my head's so big. It's just kind of I lose the words, and
How do you forget the independent?
I just because like
the Revolutionary War, Roman.
I immediately knew I was wrong though. Did you catch that? I was like, no, it's not the Civil War because the Civil War was the one that fought over slavery. I was thinking of the Revolutionary War, but I said the Civil War. Don't look at me like that. The turning point of the American Revolutionary War.
Yes.
We're cutting that whole bit out. That was a bit. That was a bit. That was me. Funny.
Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah, okay.
Was when France got involved.
Okay.
And we are Ukraine's friends today.
Yeah. That we've talked about this before.
I just wanted to close on that. Okay?
Yeah, I would we should have played that video on the what's his name? He was on PBD's podcast. He explained that. He explained
the
very
Yank?
well. No, he's Hungarian, I think.
Oh, the Hungarian guy.
Can you get your foot off? I mean, your hand off my thigh, but
no. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No, he explained it very well.
What are you talking about?
Because he's like a Trump guy, and all like the people that are like Republican or they were conservative, but they don't want to vote for Trump because he's not for the war or something. That's why I wanted to show that video, or I showed you guys that video because he's saying all the right things.
Right. Okay, that's all I had.
That's all you had?
Yep.
Well, I was going to talk about funny sales calls, but I guess that was like the funniest one. I just want to say, like, my experience, I guess, so far, it's just like it gets better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It gets better. I was surprised at how quickly I got used to just being, like, rejected, I guess. Because literally, like, out of 120 calls, you get 5 good calls a day. Mm-hmm. And those 5 good calls just keep you going. You know what I mean? Or when you get an email response, that just, and Roman's Snapchatting someone while we're on the number 1 podcast.
No, I'm listening.
So that's really good.
Yeah, I'm listening.
But yeah, it's just like, I was surprised at the amount of people. And you know what frustrates me? Because there's some people, like, you pick up the phone, you're like, hey, you know, I'm Mark, calling to speak about shipping. And there's like, oh, no, we're good. Yep. Yep. We're good. And they just don't even give you the time of day. Like, they speak to me like I'm not a person.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, if I was sitting in front of you, you would not do that at all. And that just makes me so angry because I'm so tired of speaking to some of these people.
Yeah.
Like, that are just like, like, just rude. Like, why are you being rude? Like, I'm just a dude. You know what I mean? I'm just calling you. Like, if I called you for your product, you'd be, oh, yes, I would love to help you. Oh, you want a cherry pie or an apple pie? You know what I mean? Or whatever the heck, freaking, you know, you want a big piece of metal or a small piece? Like, you know, they'd be, like, all happy, you know, but since I guess I am. And this one guy, I still have him on my list to call back. I call him. And he's like, yeah, they're not here. They're at lunch. And so you have to leave a voicemail. And I was like, okay, no problem. Can I get an email? He's like, I'm not allowed to give it out. And I was like, understandable. You know, that happens sometimes. Some people, you know, they don't want to just give out their emails to random people. And then he's like, oh, yeah, and by the way, don't transfer to sales.
Yeah.
Right? And he's like, don't click forward. That transfers you to sales. This is sales.
Yeah.
And well, because all the other options, they weren't like shipping options. So I was like, okay, I'll call sales. You know, sales works with shipping. I am just thinking about business work, how it works, right? And I was like, well, okay, so like which number do I click? He's like, I can't tell you. And I'm like, dude, like, what is your problem? He's like, if you're cold calling, I can't tell you.
Wow.
I was like, you're great.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. And then there was one old dude. I was like, yeah, I'm trying to shipping. Transfer me. And I was like, hey, whatever, shipping. And he's like, how'd you get this number? I was like, my brother, I'm looking at your website right now. It's right there.
Yeah.
It's 2023 and you operate a business. How did I get your number?
You know, it's shocking.
Somebody take a wild guess.
Yeah.
How I got his number. But yeah, so that's exciting. We are working tomorrow.
I'm not.
Wow. Well,
suck.
Yeah, all the managers are kind of telling us, yeah, tomorrow's going to be brutal because no one's going to pick up the phones, but we got to be there.
That sucks, dude.
Yeah.
We have the day off tomorrow and after tomorrow.
It's probably because you love America.
It's because our company respects us, you know, company that I work at.
Well, we're a transportation company, so people are still moving stuff tomorrow, but, you know, not we do real business.
Oh.
You know.
Oh, you mean like small boy business?
No, not like in the clouds somewhere. You know what I mean? We like take like a microphone and we put it on a truck. And truck drives. You know
and what, you make like $2?
Hey.
You know?
No.
You know, we have like
pockets are deep.
We have like real companies that pay us like, you know, hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars.
What's the market value of your company?
I want to say between 2 and 3 bill, you know.
I'm just telling you, the pockets are so much deeper on this.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Try $6 billion.
How much of that is you? Oh, wait, hold on. How much equity are you getting?
We haven't gotten into those discussions yet.
You're
I've
getting
been there a month.
0 equity?
I've been there a month.
0.0%?
I'll talk about it next
That's
time.
crazy, dude.
Oh, yeah, and you're just a majority stakeholder, huh?
I'm getting a piece, you know.
How much?
I'm getting a piece of the pie.
0.0001?
Confidential information, Mark.
Oh, okay.
Can't disclose.
Really?
Yeah, I can't.
Yes, you can.
No, I can't.
Actually?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to find out, and I'm going to expose you next time.
Can't tell you.
I mean...
You'll have to kill me.
If I put a shotgun in your mouth...
Mark, before I give up a corporate secret, you're going to have to put me in the grave. And bury me, Mark.
I'm sure.
That's
All
how
right.
much I care.
And we forgot to tell everyone, again, no one's watching this right now, but if you better be liking this.
We got to tell it at the beginning, Mark.
That's what I'm saying.
No one's watching 56 minutes of you talk.
I completely forgot about that. But yeah, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of the notification bell, but that's what like famous YouTubers tell you to do.
Yeah, they say to do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
I never do that.
Hey, don't.
Don't.
Hey, don't have to.
Just if you see the video, just click on it. You know?
I have never turned on a notification bell.
I never have and I never will.
Yeah.
Because it's so annoying. I have enough notifications as it is.
Yes, and make sure to watch Joey Diaz's compilation, the 10-minute one on 4th of July if you're an American, because you love America, so that's a tradition. Make sure you do that. Can we get a good thumbnail this time? You're like, every time you're like putting hands up. And
What do you want from me?
just look at the camera. And look at the camera. You gotta look into the camera, because your thumbnail is like looking to the side.
Okay.
I think that's good.
It's good.
Risk it for the biscuit. Take some risk in your life. Do something you've never done. Watch some documentaries. That's exciting.
That's a big risk, you know.
It's a big risk. It's a good day to have a good day. It's a good week to have a good week. And
Amen.
all right. Deuces.
Peace.